Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into it with the Denver Broncos and what the 2025 season might hold for them.
Yeah.
We've got a whole mix of stuff to look at: betting odds, training camp buzz, deep analysis from experts, basically everything we need.
Exactly. And our goal here is to try and figure out, can the Broncos actually build on making the playoffs last year? Can they maybe defy those odds and be a serious contender in 2025?
Right.
We'll look at the hard numbers, what the people who watch this stuff closely think, and like you said, what's actually happening on the practice field right now.
Okay, so let's set the scene first. Last season, they finally broke that, what was it, an 8-season playoff drought?
Long seasons, yeah.
Finished 10-7, made the wild card, lost there. But still, I mean, that feels like a pretty big step for the franchise after so long.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. A huge step. But, it's interesting when you look at how they did it in 2024.
Okay.
Offensively, they were decent. 10th in the league, 25 points a game, average, maybe slightly above. But the defense, that's where they really, really stood out. Only gave up about 18.3 points per game. That ranked them third. Third best in the entire NFL.
You heard. Wow. Okay, so a dominant defense carrying a sort of average offense.
Pretty much, yeah. That was the story. Not just making the playoffs, but doing it with that defensive identity really emerging.
So, given that defensive strength, but maybe questions elsewhere, where are the betting folks putting them for 2025? What do the odds say now?
Well, right now, the Broncos are sitting at plus 2,800 to win the Super Bowl. That puts them like 11th overall in the league odds.
11th, so not exactly favorites.
Not at all. That translates to maybe a 3.4% chance of winning it all,
Right.
according to the implied probability. And for the AFC West specifically, they're plus 300, still behind the Chiefs, obviously.
Okay, so the odds makers are maybe a bit cautious. And digging back into last season, there might be a reason for that, right? That 10-7 record.
Yeah.
Did the schedule help them out a bit?
That's a really crucial question. You look at those 10 wins.
Yeah.
8 of them came against teams that finished with a losing record. 8 out of 10.
Oof. Okay.
And that Week 18 win, the one that clinched the playoff spot, that was against the Chiefs, yeah. But Kansas City rested most of their key starters.
Right. Because they'd already locked up their seating.
Exactly. So if you're looking for wins against, like, full-strength playoff teams, there was only one. Week 3 against Tampa Bay.
Just one. And the losses?
7 losses. They came against teams with a really strong combined winning percentage, like .657. So they beat the teams they should have beaten, mostly, but struggled against the top competition.
Okay, that definitely adds some context. So what does that mean heading into 2025? Because the schedule looks different, much different.
It really does. If you look at the projected strength of schedule for this coming season, based on last year's results anyway, it's way tougher.
How much tougher?
They're looking at 9 games against teams that made the playoffs last year. 9.
Yeah.
Including, obviously, 2 against the Chiefs, who won the AFC again.
Yeah.
And 1 against the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
Plus, a tough game against the Bengals, who almost made it themselves.
Yeah.
It's a serious step up in competition.
9 playoff teams.
Yeah, you called it a gauntlet, and that sounds about right. So, okay, massive challenge ahead. But you hear whispers and even some analysts saying, no, this team is built right. Sean Payton himself said they're still hungry, have high expectations, even if they can't just pick up where they left off.
Right. There's definitely internal belief.
So what's fueling that optimism? Let's start with the run game, because that seems to be a big focus.
It is. They brought in J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, drafted Audric Estime, and the thinking is these guys can totally transform the offense.
Because the issue wasn't the O-line last year.
No, not really. The line actually played pretty well. Pro Football Focus, some other places, had them ranked quite highly. The problem was more the guys running the ball behind them.
Gotcha. So now the belief is if they get this run game firing with these new backs, the whole offense could, well, the word used was explode.
Explode, huh? Okay. And are the players feeling that shift? What are the guys on the line saying?
Yeah, Quinn Miners, the offensive guard, right? He was an all-pro last year.
First Broncos O-lineman since like 2013 to get that, I saw.
Exactly. Big deal. He said the run game has changed a little bit, that there's a new speed emphasis.
Speed emphasis, okay.
And you see it in the personnel. R.J. Harvey apparently led all of Division I in yards per carry on outside zone runs, like 8.2 yards a pop.
Wow.
And Dobbins, when healthy, brings that sort of north to south speed, but also, bulldozer element, as they put it.
Yeah.
Miners seems confident. He said, a lot of people have been sleeping on us.
Okay, so confidence in the run game making a leap. But the defense, as you said, was already third in points allowed, led the league in sacks. How do you even improve on that?
Well, they didn't stand pat. They went out and added some significant pieces. Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, and their first-round pick, J.D. Barron in the secondary.
Right.
Plus, Vance Joseph is back for year 3 as defensive coordinator. That continuity helps, and the focus seems to be on making that run defense even tougher, more stout.
Hufanga, that's a name that jumps out.
Oh,
First team All-Pro back in 2022. What does he bring specifically? Is he going to step right in and make an impact?
You'd think so. I mean, this guy is known for his physicality. He can play multiple spots, and he just makes those game-changing plays, interceptions, forced fumbles.
A playmaker.
Exactly. And strategically, he could be huge. Teams might try to avoid throwing at Pat Surtain II, their star corner. Hufanga playing well on the other side or roving around makes that much harder. And he sounds genuinely pumped to be there. Called Denver one of the best places in the world. He's apparently been hitting the playbook hard with Brandon Jones, trying to get up to speed so he can play lightning quick, as he put it.
And the rookie Barron.
Barron adds even more versatility. He played nickel, safety, even some outside corner in college. So more options for Vance Joseph to mix things up.
So it feels like the argument is it's not just about individual talent, but putting all the right pieces together.
That's exactly the argument, that the team is built the right way. They point to 3 things. 1, elite coach, Sean Payton, future Hall of Famer, right? 2, franchise quarterback, they believe, in Bo Nix. We'll get to him.
Yeah.
And 3, maybe the best combination of offensive and defensive lines, the trenches in the whole league.
Really? Best trenches.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, that O-line, like we said, top 2 or 3 last year, maybe best, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
And they returned all 5 starters. That continuity up front is just massive.
Okay, let's not go Knicks then, because obviously the quarterback is everything. He had that historic rookie season, 29 touchdown passes, second most ever for a rookie.
Yeah.
But now year 2, what's the word out of camp? What's different?
The big buzzword is quicker. Reports are saying his release looks incredibly faster.
Faster release. How much faster are we talking?
Well, his average time to throw last year was apparently 2.98 seconds, which, sounds fast, but in the NFL, the top guys are under 2.5 seconds.
So nearly half a second slower.
Yeah, and that half a second, that's an eternity in the pocket. It's the difference between getting the ball out and taking a sack or hitting a receiver in stride versus throwing it away.
Okay, so how to get faster? Just practice.
It sounds like he really worked on his mechanics. Making the whole throwing motion tighter, more compact, less wind-up. Allows him to do more with less, is how one report put it. Get velocity on deeper throws without that big, long motion, which should help accuracy, too.
And there was that rumor or report about him working with someone specific.
Right, Drew Brees.
Yep.
That's where the Knicks met with Brees in the offseason.
Ah.
And I think with the Brees, right? Not the biggest guy. Always needed that super quick, efficient release to succeed like he did.
Makes perfect sense.
So the speculation is pretty strong that Brees helped him refine those mechanics. You couldn't ask for a much better mentor for that specific thing.
No kidding. So with that mechanical tweak, plus the better run game, the solid O-line, people are optimistic he avoids the sophomore slump.
That's definitely the feeling, yeah.
Yeah.
The idea is he's got such a good support system. The line protects him. The run game takes pressure off, opens up play action. It gives him a really stable platform to just build on year 1 rather than having to carry everything himself.
Yeah, makes sense. What about his weapons? Cortland Sutton is the established guy, but Marvin Mims Jr., he was an all-pro returner, but kind of disappeared on offense sometimes last year. What's his situation?
Yeah, Mims has been a bit of a riddle, as one source put it.
Yeah.
All-pro returner, clearly explosive.
Yeah.
But yeah, 9 games last year with 1 catch or 0 catches.
Weird.
Very. But apparently, he saw more snaps late in the season, and the word is the coaches have big plans for him this year. They need another receiver to step up opposite Sutton.
They definitely do.
And speaking of Sutton, his contract situation is one to watch. Same with Nick Bonito on defense, had 13.5 sacks last year, 3rd in the league, but he's in the last year of his rookie deal.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And Zach Allen, the defensive lineman, 2nd-team All-Pro last year. Those are guys they need to figure out extensions for, presumably. That's the business side creeping in.
Right. Always part of the equation. Okay, so we have this picture of a team that's made significant additions, believes in its young QB, thinks its lines are elite. But then you look at the division again. The AFC West, how does this Broncos team stack up there? It's always tough.
It is. It's described as a tough division, and for good reason. The Raiders, people think they're improved. They brought in Pete Carroll as coach, Geno Smith at QB, added Ashton Genty on the line.
Okay.
The Chargers, it feels like a massive prove-it year for Justin Herbert, now with Jim Harbaugh calling the shots. And, Harbaugh wants to run the ball and play tough defense.
Classic Harbaugh.
Totally. And then there's the Chiefs. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. They won, 15 or 16 games last year, won the whole AFC again. They're healthy. They're always the team to beat until proven otherwise.
Yeah, they're the benchmark. So even with all the positive moves the Broncos made, getting out of that division is still a huge challenge.
Huge. It's a gauntlet just within those 6 games before you even look at the other 9 playoff opponents on the schedule.
So what's the overall feeling then? You've got the team feeling optimistic, some analysts buying in. But what about the fans? What's the vibe out there? Are they fully buying the hype after years of, well, disappointment?
That's the interesting thing. Even with the team getting more respect, more media attention, you still sense this, I don't know, nervousness maybe, or even a bit of trauma from past seasons.
Yeah, I can see that.
Years of getting hopes up in the offseason, thinking this is the year, only for it to fall apart.
Yeah.
So the big question hanging over everything is, was last year's playoff run real? Or was kind of a fluke, maybe helped by that schedule?
Right. Can they sustain it?
Exactly. There's hope, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's mixed with this fear, this here we go again feeling. Can they really be consistently good? It's like the fan base is holding its breath a little bit.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. We dove into the Broncos 2025 outlook, looked at the numbers from last year, the betting odds for this year, the roster changes, the coaching, the schedule. It's definitely a compelling story. A team finally breaking through, making smart moves, but facing this incredibly tough path forward.
It really is. So connecting it all for you, the listener, you've got the improved run game, potentially an even better defense with guys like Hufanga and Barron, Bo Nix maybe taking that next step after working with Breeze, plus that elite O-line and Coach Payton. If you had to pick just one thing, what single factor do you think will ultimately decide whether these Broncos actually beat the odds and build real sustained success in 2025? What's the linchpin?